If you've ever said, I love leadership, but I'm not political enough to go the command route, this video is for you. This video is for DLCPOs, senior chiefs, master chiefs, wondering if the command program is the right choice for them. This is also for any junior sailors who are wondering if they want to be a command master chief or a command senior chief one day. I'm going to talk about why I went the command route and why it was the right choice for me and why I think it's the right choice for you. I'm also going to talk about some of the myths and my thoughts on those. So why does this matter? The Navy needs great leaders from the senior chief and master chief pool to come into the command program and lead at the executive level. We need those talented leaders to get into the program and join us and lead the Navy into the future. Most leaders I talk to end up talking themselves out of this program for the wrong reasons, and I'm trying to get after that. I've been in the Navy for 18 and a half years, and I remember as a junior sailor that I always looked up to some of the strong command master chiefs that I had in my career. One of the earliest command master chiefs that I remember is Tracy Hunt, the now Force Master Chief. He and I worked together on the Rodney M. Davis. He was my command senior chief at the time, and I remember seeing him walking the deck plates, talking to sailors, leading, mentoring, and this was my first look at a good command master chief and what that meant, and inspired me to want to join this program in the future. Once I joined the mess, I worked for some really talented command master chiefs during my time at sea. I worked for John Lamperth, who was a really inspiring command master chief, one of my earliest ones that I had as a young chief petty officer. I remember checking in with him, the way he cared for the mess, led the mess, and led the wardroom. It was inspiring to see him work alongside the commanding officer to build the culture that we had on that ship. The next one I had on my next destroyer was Josh Joyner, and I went over to that ship exclusively to work with him as a CMC when I was a senior chief, and seeing again how he led, inspired, and really built the culture of that ship and its sailors really cemented my commitment to want to join the command master chief ranks, and ultimately decided to apply and was selected. So why did I ultimately choose to leave my rate and become a command master chief? My original rate when I came into the Navy was STG, or Surface Sonar Technician. I did this my entire career. I was a technician on a first boat, then I made chief on shore duty and went back and was leading divisions. From the point that I checked on to my first ship as a chief, I was a DLCPO. The person there who was senior to me didn't want to do the job, so it was offered to me day one. So I was basically a DLCPO for about 7.5 years. And what I found over time is that I spent a lot of times working hand in hand with my department head, building that culture, leading teams, and really getting to know leadership well. And I became an ELD instructor early, I think 2017, and I really found my passion, which was leadership. I really enjoyed building those cultures and working, inspiring, mentoring, and training sailors, leading the mess, leading the wardroom. That's what my true passion was. I enjoyed the tactics and the technical aspect of being a sonar tech, but what I found over time is I was starting to lose my edge on being the best. I was good at my job, but if you look at the pool of sonar tech senior chiefs at the time that I worked alongside, there was many great candidates there. Some that would become some of the best sonar tech master chiefs the Navy has today. And being a sonar tech became more and more of a side project because I spent so much time dealing with departmental level issues in the leadership and care of our sailors. And so when I looked at the program, I wanted to load shed, get rid of the equipment, get rid of all those tactics, and just focus on what really mattered to me. And what I thought to myself was, if I'm going to do this a day past 20 years, then I want to do it as a command leader where I can just focus on what I truly love. I love leadership and I love sailors, and those are my two passions, and command allows me to focus on that. Command was the right choice for me because I wanted to have the most influence to make our Navy and the lives of our sailors the best possible. And as a rated senior chief and master chief, especially in my rating, that ability to really shape the Navy as a whole was somewhat limited. So Command gives me the opportunity to do that. Just a few months ago, my chief recruiter and I went to Millington and worked in a working group with all the other Command Master Chiefs and the chief recruiters to put forth multiple suggestions directly to the Admiral on how we can improve quality of life for our sailors in recruiting. I would have never been able to take that opportunity or be part of that conversation had I not entered the Command program. Another huge reason why I chose to go Command is because I love working alongside our commanding officers and our executive officers doing everything that I talked about. Building those cultures, leading our teams, and leading and building the future. For me, it's nothing cooler than that on the planet, and I really love it. Some other minor reasons why I went into the program is because as a sonar tech, it's extremely difficult to make Master Chief, nearly impossible. So that upward mobility that Command Master Chief offered was a small percentage of why I decided to join the program. I would never recommend that be your primary driving reason why you're joining is that promotion, but that was a contributing factor. The difference between making 8 and making 9 in retirement for my family is roughly $600 at 20 years. And that distinctive dollar amount or money in my pocket for my family gets bigger and bigger the longer you stay. I would have also probably done the same type of duties repetitively. As a Sonar Tech Senior Chief, I would have spent a lot of time ship, shore, ship, shore. I would have eventually moved to Surf Pack or Surf Land, maybe, but I would have spent a lot of time doing that DLCPO role, a role I'd already done for almost 8 years, probably for another 5 or 6 years minimum. And me personally, I thrive where I get to experience new things, see new people, and learn something new. I enjoy seeing all the different aspects that our Navy allows us to enjoy. So now as a Command Master Chief, I can get stationed to recruiting like I am now, which is an amazing opportunity. I can go to a squadron, an LPD, a carrier. A lot of those tours would have never been possible if I would have stayed as a rated sonar tech. So again, the money and the different billet options were minor reasons why I chose to go, because ultimately what led me down this path was the leadership and the sailor aspect. Those are the two things that I have a huge passion for, and Command lets me focus on just that. So again, if you have a passion for leadership and you want to build cultures and you want to have an impact that you can measure and that you can see daily on the deck plate, the Command program's for you. Don't hesitate applying, do it now. Next up, let's talk about some of the myths so I can debunk them and talk about why I think they're simply not true. These are some of the common, excuses on why I hear people, why they don't want to apply to this program or things that might hold them back. The first myth or excuse that I hear a lot of people say is, I could never be a Command Master Chief. It's just way too political. For me, I don't think that's true at all. I think it's BS. This job isn't political in my mind. I haven't had to deal with a lot of politics during my time as a Command Master Chief. Granted, I've only been in the program for about 2.5 years. For me, it hasn't been political. If you think that political means you can't just say what you want and, be unfiltered, then yeah, sure. It's political. If you think that you're not at a higher level of scrutiny, the higher you go in the Navy, then sure. It's political. Because yes, as a Command Master Chief, I do have a higher expectation set for me by the Navy and by our sailors. The real reality is I get more freedom for direct impact and to put my opinion into conversations that make real shape and change in our Navy. Something that isn't possible anywhere else but the command field. As a rated Senior Chief or Master Chief, yes, you can affect your rate, and yes, you do put in those conversations from time to time. As a Command Master Chief, it's a real responsibility of my job to shape the Navy in the future. That's one of the coolest aspects of this job. This job is less about politics and more about influence. The next excuse I hear is, it's way too hard. In reality, this is the easiest job I've ever had. The hardest job I ever had was being a DLCPO because I was dealing with the sailors, I was dealing with any problems or help that they needed, and I also owned all of that equipment like I talked about earlier. Now I can just focus on what I'm passionate about. I don't have to deal with all those equipment issues, deal with all those inspections. Yes, I have to go out there and motivate and help drive the culture to support inspections all the time, but I'm not responsible for actually running those check sheets and doing all those things. I'm focusing on the sailors, the leadership, and the culture. So this job is far easier. As a Command Master Chief, I pretty much own my schedule. I can do whatever I want, go to any recruiting stations that I see fit, and most of the time, as long as I'm not messing up, my CO is going to let me have that freedom of navigation to go where I think I'm needed and where they think I need to be as well. So for me, this is the easiest job I ever had and the most freedom that I've ever had in my entire career to lead and inspire exactly how I want to. This is another thing I hear echoed from the commanding officers that I've worked with. That a lot of times they say being the CO has a lot of stress and has a lot of responsibility, but from a sheer workload standpoint, it's the easiest job they've ever had. They also usually tell me the hardest time they've had or the hardest working period in their career was their department head tour. So for me, saying this is the hardest job is just not true because those other jobs were way harder. The last excuse I hear a lot of times is people say, hey, I'm not ready. I don't know all the programs and I don't know all the things that I think I should know to be able to go the command route. First off, there's a charge book, or what I would equate to a PQS, that goes through all the things that you should know. You may not be expected to know everything as a leader, but we expect you to find it. A lot of times, I deal with a lot of situations that are murky and cross multiple instructions, and I have to look through those instructions, work with my leadership and my program managers to then advise the captain on the right choice. You're never gonna feel 100% ready. You just gotta take that leap of faith and trust yourself and jump into the program feet first. If you get after it and you're willing to learn and willing to give it 100%, I believe in you and I believe that you'll be successful. So don't let a silly excuse like I'm not ready hold you back. Apply now. So who is this program not for? I would say this program isn't for somebody who absolutely loves their rate. If you love your job that the Navy has you doing and you couldn't dream giving it up, then don't apply to the program because you're going to leave that stuff behind. The Navy needs technical and tactical experts in the Senior Chief and Master Chief to remain in their field just as much as we need passionate leaders in the command program. So if this is you, don't apply. If you're not the biggest fan of mentoring the mess, mentoring the wardroom, leading, building cultures, or you simply don't like dealing with sailor-related issues, that doesn't get you up in the morning, this might not be the best fit for you because you're going to deal with a lot of those issues and a lot of those problems, and that's the core element of your job. So if you don't like that kind of stuff, then maybe this isn't for you. Think about these considerations. Again, if you love your job and your rate and that's what gets you up in the morning and you want to do that for the rest of your life, do you truly want to give that up? Do you want to deal with those sailor issues? Do you want to deal with those leadership challenges? If the answers are no, then stay in your rate. That's okay too. If you're passionate about leadership, culture, and people, we need you in the program. I highly encourage you to apply and look into the program. The NAV admin for this year just dropped a few weeks ago. Take a look at it. If you meet the criteria, sit down with your Command Master Chief or Command Senior Chief and talk to them about joining this program this year. I promise you won't regret it. It's been one of the most rewarding things that I've done in my entire career, and I'm just getting started. If this resonated with you, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel. I drop a video every single Friday at 9 a.m. And let me know in the comments, what's holding you back? Why won't you join the program? I want to hear it. I try to respond to every comment. I hope this helped. Thanks for watching.